This is a keystone species. This is a long-distance pollinator. These are like the bees for Australian native hardwood trees. So they're a really important species, so we are doing what we can to save as many of this year's babies as we can.
We have heat waves. We've always had heat waves. We're just having them a lot earlier now. Obviously, despite what some of our politicians might like to think, climate change is occurring. So we used to get them about Feb, March. And although they were never great, the pups are older.
At this time of year we have young pups in the colony. Most of the females have a baby. Those babies are between 5 and 9 weeks old. They're quite vulnerable. They can't fly yet. They're dependent on mum and they cannot cope with these very hot days. It's a movable thing, but on a really extreme heat day we will have about 30 people down here. We'll have triage stations set up where we'll have a vet or a couple of experienced carers. We will have other people out spraying animals and looking for animals that need help.
She was found on the base of a tree, which is pretty standard for all of these guys. So generally what happens is as they start getting hotter, they start going further down the tree. But what tends to happen is they clump in a big group, which is not great because all that happens is they just get warmer.
We have between 150 and 200 babies in care now across our networks. Everyone who comes and helps bats has to be vaccinated against Australian bat lyssavirus. It only affects less than 1% of the population, but because it's a virus that's very closely related to rabies, don't touch a bat unless you're an experienced and vaccinated person, but call the rescue organisation. They'll send somebody who will deal with that. They fly hundreds, if not thousands of kilometres a year, so they're always on the move. So these animals might fly to Adelaide, they might fly back up to northern New South Wales and even southern Queensland. In the daytime they congregate together and they live in what we call a camp and socialise and sleep and fight and squabble. And when they're in a camp people go, oh, there's a lot of them, but in fact we know that the numbers are declining. And this year is an absolute disaster for this species and for other species of flying foxes. But having said that, we can't just accept that. We have to fight back. We have to try and save these important Indigenous species. And if we want to have healthy forests, we've got to save the flying foxes.